Yes, welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 81. We are into our new season of 2019. This time around, we are following the phases of the moon, and we are looking at a trade arc review tonight. And with me, as always, is the High Priest of Khonshu, co-host Khonshu. Khonshu, how are you? Hey,
I am doing well. I have a fan blasting. I've got things working for once. So we're all good.
Really hot up there, I hear.
Yeah. It's Queensland.
Yeah, true. Very tropical. I'm imagining you in a Hawaiian shirt now with some board shorts, maybe a cocktail or something, as you have cold air blowing onto you. But, that's just me. Anyway, Loonies, we are here tonight, and as mentioned, we have let me try and think about this, is a waxing gibbous. So up in the night sky is a waxing gibbous, and Khonshu has decreed that we do a trade arc review. And Khonshu, a little bit of a bungle here with what we were going to do, but nevertheless a good story, right? With me.
Yeah. So we're covering Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 18. This is one of two Moon Knight appearances. The first being around about Volume 8, I think, in an arc called The Warriors, which is his first ever appearance. Mm-hmm. This would denote his last, so whole 2 volumes of Ultimate Moon Knight. Yeah, the other one covers him better. It's a better introduction. It's a better look at what goes inside his head, which is what I was kind of looking for. But this one is just a really strong story, and I love Ultimate Spider-Man. It was the first full run I read when I got back into comics 2-3 years ago. I binged it over one school holiday, all like 200 and something issues.
Wow.
Just all of it, went all out thanks to Marvel Unlimited, and stuck with me. And this arc stuck with me a lot too, so it's good to revisit it. Holds up, and I'm excited to talk about it. And I hope those reading home get tracked down it, or maybe I think a lot of people probably read Ultimate Spider-Man. It's a big run.
It's a big run, and I think it's readily available. It's been released a few times in trade, but as you say, Khonshu, it's on Marvel Unlimited, so I think a lot of comic fans would have tapped into Marvel Unlimited. Actually, I'm the complete opposite to what you mentioned, Connor, and against the grain in a sense, because I haven't read this before. I hadn't read this before before this episode. I know, and I can't believe I haven't. It is a ripper of a yarn, and it's something I've really got to look into more. Ultimate Spider-Man. I've always liked Spider-Man. I collected the Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man back in the 90s. I've been on and off Amazing Spider-Man, but Ultimates never really kind of appealed to me. But have you read any other Ultimate titles, Connor?
Yeah, I don't think the Ultimate Universe holds up. I didn't come into it when it was big. But I think it was pretty revolutionary at the time, pushed a lot of really current ideas, but I think the only things these days that really hold up are the first Ultimate X-Men issues by Hickman.
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man, that's both the Peter and Miles stuff, still holds up, and I think some of the Ultimate Comics X-Men and All New Ultimates, which were much later, nearing the end of the Ultimates, holds up. The rest is kind of just like edgy, over-violent, not quite that well written. So,
Yeah, well, in any case, I mean, a lot of people do talk about Ultimate Spider-Man being a seminal run, so for those loony listeners out there who haven't read Ultimates, like myself, maybe the odd handful, there's no better place to start than this one. And of course, we have our boy Moon Knight in this, so very good indeed. Also, I mentioned as well about Marvel Unlimited. Like most people would have it. I don't. I've unsubscribed to that for a while now. I'm thinking whether I should hop back onto it, but it's I'd be silly not to, wouldn't I?
Yeah, admittedly, I only jump on when I have something I want to read, and then just kind of jump back on.
Yeah.
Off.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very kind of frugal in that sense. If I'm with a subscription, I want to make sure that it's not just lying idle. But there's always plenty to read there, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be on to Marvel Unlimited. Anyway, so we will be cracking onto that. As Connor mentioned, it is volume 18. Look, there are many different prints, I believe, of the Ultimates now, so I'm sure there are more complete collections. There was a massive distribution of all the volumes, with this being volume 18 back in the day as well, so that's kind of how it's kind of well known in collected form. I'm just wondering if we should maybe crack onto it. We don't have much news, unfortunately. There's not much news as expected with Moon Knight, so we're a bit lean in that regards. With comics, again, I mean, I guess, Connor, comics-wise, what you been up to? I know, maybe this would be a good chance to plug. You're selling off a few comics.
Yeah, I'm decluttering. I'm going to be a big old uni student, plus new comics coming in, so I'm getting that sweet dollars and selling off the old ones.
Before I guess some congratulations are in order as well, Khonshu. Heading off into the next milestone, university. That should be good. Different lifestyle from there, from the high school, but a lot of fun times ahead for you. So well done.
Thank you.
So it's your decluttering. I've had a look for those learners keen on maybe nabbing a few back issues that complete your sets. Just check out. I believe it's on the. Is it on the long box? The long box. There's a Facebook group. I'm sure many of you know selling secondhand comics or trades. Connor is featured on that as well. We'll put that in the show notes, and if that's okay, Connor, of course. I mean, I think it'd be good to be able to see if you can sell off your collection.
Get it out. Yeah. Buy some more. Finally going to invest in those Moon Knight Epic collections as well.
Oh, yeah.
Get all the runs back under my belt.
Yeah, that'll be good. As for comics, current releases and stuff, have you been... Any top hits for you?
There has been a few good ones this week. Big shout out to Chip Zdarsky's Invaders. Super good.
Awesome. I've got that on my pull list. I haven't read it yet, but it's got Namor, so of course.
It's a great Namor. It's probably the most I've liked him in some time. It's doing him really well.
Fantastic. Oh, great. There was that. What else was there? There was did you catch Black Widow?
Oh, I haven't read that yet. I've got that sitting there. I haven't cracked on all of my comics yet. Was that good? Did you read it?
Oh, no, I haven't. I haven't got it, actually. Just, I guess, funds permitting. I've had to... I guess I'll pick that up later, hopefully if it's on a sale later, 6 months or whatever from now. At the moment, I can't pick it up. Marvel Comics Presents, that's got Namor in there as well with Cap and Wolverine. Did you pick that up?
No, but I've heard good things. Lovely host Rebecca speaks highly of it. I think.
Oh, really? Cool.
It's a great Cap bit, great Namor bit apparently. So.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that's another one on the wish list. Unfortunately, not currently, but great. Look, I've got so much catching up to do, Khonshu. I'm still running behind, but I've just got to drop by the LCS, pick up the stuff. But in the meantime, I've been doing a bit of how should I say it? I do like organising a lot of stuff, so I've got this app. God, I can't remember what it's called. It's it's comic book database, something like that, and you can catalog your whole collection. And so you can use your phone or your tablet, and you can scan the barcode, and you can kind of log your collection in it. So it's like a running itinerary of a running invoice. Running list of all your current collection. I've been doing that. That's been pretty cool. Been getting that underway. I've been looking at all these past collections that I haven't touched for a while. That would be good to reread again. Like I came across Death of Wolverine, That was a really nice. It was only 4-parter, but it was drawn by Steve McNiven, Charles Soule. There's a whole Secret Wars thing. Like, remember how good was Secret Wars, Connor? That was just
all the times as well.
All the time, yeah. The whole thing, like the whole package was just so good. So I came across all them again, just kind of reminiscing. But yeah, haven't read much. I'm doing a bit of a read on All Star Superman. So for the other podcast, so All Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, I believe. It's really good. It's really good. For being someone that hardly knows anything of Superman in comics, it's quite an entertaining read, and I can see the appeal of how Grant Morrison is such a good writer. I feel like I've been missing out on a lot of his stuff. So, are you collecting by chance? I think the current Green Lantern is written by him.
I'll be picking that one up in trade.
Yeah,
I do love myself some Grant Morrison, but that one didn't totally grab me to put it onto my pull list. So
okay, yeah. But have you read much of his other? Like, I mean, he's a guide over there at DC, and he does write really well.
Oh yeah, I love plenty of Morrison stuff. His Doom Patrol run, The Invisibles,
yeah,
Animal Man.
Yeah, Animal Man. Yeah, you're right. Animal Man. I remember one of the Isle of Ras. We did Animal Man, which was pretty good. Yes.
Earth 2, Seven Soldiers, We 3. A lot of stuff for Vertigo as well.
Right.
So many books under his belt. The Authority, Wildcat, stuff like that.
He's very... 52. I mean, I don't know if it's just for the Superman, this All-Star thing. He's very, detailed with his sci-fi. Like, he seems very knowledgeable with... how do you call it? Like extreme science fiction, about technology and science and how it works. Either that or, either he's applied some knowledge of real world science and he's taken it to an extreme, or he's just blowing it kind of out of his ass. But it's really, really good stuff. So I can imagine his Green Lantern will be good. I can imagine his cosmic stuff will be really good because he seems to be very sci-fi.
Brilliant ideas.
Yeah. So anyway, so we kind of digress a bit, but that's kind of what we've been doing, I guess, in comics.
I checked out those TKO books. TKO Presents. It's got stuff from Joshua Dysart, which is my favorite. Goodnight Paradise.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really great sort of crime thriller. We got a war book from Garth Ennis.
Oh wow!
It's great art by Steve Epting. Yeah, absolutely cracked. A couple by someone who's just made the transition to comics as well as starting this company. Say Shen, maybe that's how I pronounce his name, did a great kind of Tarantino-esque thriller, as well as a great sort of one called Seven Deadly Sins, which I don't really want to kind of spoil, but you can pick up all those first issues for free on their website at tkopresents.com.
Wow.
And they've released a bunch of different ways. I know they've got them in at King's. You can buy them in several different formats. You can even buy them all in single issues or a trade straight away, and they've all been released every issue at once, so it's kind of like binging it.
It's kind of like a Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Wow, I've never... I've seen it advertised at King's Comics, which is my local comic book store, which is located in Sydney. But I didn't know what it was about. So they're a new publisher.
Yeah, this is their first works. They're announced. They probably came in the market about a month ago.
Wow. Okay.
They've got stuff. Jeff Lemire's writing one. Sentient with Gabrielle Walter.
Oh man, you've already sold me on Josh Dysart and Garth Ennis, and now Jeff Lemire as well. Man, that's great. For those who don't know as well, Josh Dysart, a big writer for Harbingers, for Valiant Comics. Anyone following Valiant would obviously know his name. Really, really good run he did for Harbingers, I think, which was the core title. Garth Ennis, no one, he needs no introduction, I'm sure. For anyone listening to this episode, people who like Moon Knight, I'm sure would be... Actually, he would be a great Moon Knight writer, don't you think?
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure I could handle how dark Moon Knight would get with Garth Ennis, but I feel like people would love that.
Exactly. I'm thinking what he's done for Punisher, man, the stuff he could do for Moon Knight would just blow your mind. So yeah, he's without introduction. And he, of course, Jeff Lemire. MK alumni. Fantastic. I'm going to have to check that out. And again, we'll put it in the show notes. But as Connor says, a few of the issues are free, right, on their website.
First issue, and
first
then
issue.
They're all 4-issue minis, so they've put out 4 titles, got another 4 coming.
Holy moly,
great stuff,
man! Okay, I'm going to have to pick that up straight after this. I'm going to say, also as well, I guess a quick mention before we get into our review. The big thing as well in the comic bookie community, the premiere of The Punisher was released on Friday, January 18th on Netflix. The second season starring John Bernthal and the likes of Ben Barnes, I think that's his name. So playing Billy Russo, aka Jigsaw. Khonshu, I know you have is it an on and off relationship with Netflix? Are you catching this one at this time, or?
Yeah, I didn't even finish the first season. I did want to. It was pretty good from what I saw, but I haven't. Got to get back into it.
I must say, Stephen Lightfoot, I believe, is the showrunner. He does like to put the brakes on a little on the pacing. Look, but when I say that, by no means is that a terrible thing. It actually just draws you in, and it does give you enough time to spend with the characters there and to, I guess, understand and empathise with them a little bit more. So no spoilers here, but obviously, I'm 4 episodes in. How far are you, Connor?
3 episodes into season 1.
Okay, yeah. Into season 1. So you're not touching season 2 yet.
No, I haven't even. Yeah.
Okay. How are you finding season 1? Good.
Yeah, I saw those first 3 episodes as they aired. I did like them. I don't know why.
All a while ago. Okay.
Yeah, I was probably just busy and never went back for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, season 2 is really good. Actually, I'm enjoying it. Again, look, no spoilers. I've seen the first 4. I'd say out of the 4 episodes, episode 4 was probably the more average out of them all. But episodes 1, 2, and 3 all crackers. So awesome stuff. Going to keep one eye open there for any reference. We all know that Netflix has and is most likely going to cancel Jessica Jones and Punisher. So there's been also a bit of a downer kind of vibe around this. I just checked a couple of threads and stuff with people talking about Punisher. I'm on a couple of Punisher Facebook groups, and people are like, "Oh yeah, have you caught it yet?" And people are responding, "Oh, why bother? It's going to be cancelled." It's like, I think that's a bit of a defeatist kind of attitude. You can still enjoy season 2, right? There's no reason, if it's cancelled or not. You can still enjoy the hard work and the creativity that's been put into season 2. So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's that kind of mentality going around, which is unfortunate because that will mean maybe less viewers for Punisher, which would maybe be more of a nail in the coffin for what Netflix has already planned for them. But it shouldn't take away from the quality of the show so far, and it's pretty good. So, so Punisher, Netflix. I know a few loonies. I think our good mate, The Power of Chad, has just finished the whole season. I'm
absolute madman.
Absolute madman. He's binged it. He's binged it like a bottle of Jack Daniels. He's done well. But hey, did you used to do that? I used to do that. I used to binge. I still binge.
I watched all of Daredevil in season 3 in one day, I think. Watched all of Iron Fist as well.
Yeah. Okay, I haven't binged something in ages. I think the most would be maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and then I got no petrol in the tank. I got, Old Man Ray, right next to Old Man Logan and Old Man Hawkeye, and what's the other one? Old Man Quill now. He's coming up, isn't he? Yeah, so, got to get to bed soon. Anyway, so, how about, Connor, we go to a quick break and we get on with business. Let's do Ultimate Spider-Man, Volume 18.
Oh, I will just drop one thing,
Yeah, sure.
Tiniest bit of news.
Yep.
I'm not going to do something big about it. But there are pretty substantial rumours about Disney Plus and Moon Knight. Obviously, there's nothing concrete, but but these rumours pop up every week, discussion, but these are probably the most concrete rumours we've had in years. So, but maybe something to watch.
So when you say concrete, I mean, I've only seen the 1 or 2 threads on it. So it's Moon Knight and Sentry, right? I've heard Sentry
It's not so much in the same show, but it's just characters must be being discussed there or something.
Yeah.
You know, they're pushing a lot of big things for that service, so and that's definitely worth coming out. You know, it probably won't amount to anything, but something to keep an eye on as Disney Plus drops in the next year.
Yeah, I reckon there's a bit of smoke and mirrors here as well. I've heard also Sif might be getting her own show as well.
I believe that was confirmed. That's official.
Is it?
I think so.
So is Loki and Scarlet Witch and Falcon and Winter Soldier? Is that all confirmed as well?
Yep. Though I know those three are for sure confirmed.
Wow.
100%. Loki, Scarlet Witch, Bucky, and Cap. Bucky and Falcon. They're all 100% confirmed.
So Bucky and Falcon are together, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the Sif one is a rumor.
Okay. So
that's a more substantial rumor, but those other three are official confirmed ones.
Okay. Because I was about to say, you know, every man and his dog seems to be, in the Marvel Universe, seems to be getting a TV show now. So smoke and mirrors, we don't know what's right. We don't know what's real and what's not. But look, I'll be happy for a Sif one. Those others, Loki, Scarlet Witch, yes, please. And Bucky and Falcon, of course. I'd love to see them on the small screen. But yeah, of course, man, Moony, bring it on. You know, again, I tend to take this with a grain of salt because, you know, Connor, how long have we been doing this?
Oh, yeah.
You know, how many times have we heard this sort of stuff? So, you know, I just want to be surprised one day that a rumor actually becomes real. But yeah, that's right. Absolutely, Connor, that was dropped. Do we know
that was thanks to Rebecca? She popped that one into the group.
High Priest of Khonshu, Rebecca, thank you very much. What's do we know the timing for Disney streaming the service?
Nothing confirmed. I believe it's supposed to drop this year, like the service itself. None of those Marvel shows will be on it.
Okay.
That Star Wars Mandalorian show is being filmed at the moment, and that's Disney Plus exclusive. So those things have obviously got to match up pretty all right. So probably later in the year, start of next year, we'll see Disney Plus more shows hitting it, original content.
Cool. All right. Well, that's mad. I've got to save my pennies to subscribe to that. I know at the moment in Australia, at least, Stan, which is another streaming service, they have got basically most, or if not all, the Marvel properties, Disney properties. So if you don't have any Blu-rays or whatever, and are looking to catch up on your MCU stuff, Stan have pretty much all of them there, so that's good. I don't believe Stan's available in the US, but anyway, for the Aussie loonies, there you go. All right then, well, we better get to it then. Why don't we'll go to a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Chris.
And this is Brian.
And we are the hosts of Inner Demons, the Ghost Rider podcast.
And you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and other podcast apps for all your Ghost Rider needs.
Right on.
Yes, welcome, loony listeners. This is Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. You are with your two high priests of Khonshu and Ray. And yes, we are making sure Khonshu is served correctly and devoted by his loony listeners. And so we have an offering for him. We have a trade arc review. And this one was, indirectly suggested by Khonshu.
Happy accident.
Happy accident. Volume 18. And so, Khonshu, how about we get into it? Have you got perhaps the credits there?
So this is, volume Ultimate Spider-Man, Volume 18, Ultimate Nights. Mm-hmm. This is issue 106 to 111. Mm-hmm. It debuted. The trade paperback, at least, I'm just running off that. Mm-hmm. was in September 19th, 2007. We've got writer Brian Michael Bendis. We've got penciling duties between Stuart Immonen and Mark Bagley. I believe Stuart Immonen did 111, with Mark Bagley doing the rest, but split up between them nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, right. I didn't realise that, Connor. I just read 111 earlier on, and I saw a lot of Mark Bagley. I didn't catch Stuart Immonen, but you're right. I mean, seamless transition. So we also have inkers Drew Hennessy, Justin Ponsor on colourist, VC's Corey Petit, who we all know does a lot of Moon Knight stuff, and editor Ralph Macchio, not the Karate Kid. So, Khonshu, I think last time you threw it my way, I might throw it your way. So how about for these issues 106 to 11s, because we are doing the whole arc, can you perhaps deliver a sliver to our loony listeners for this?
Easily. So Fisk has been a pain in the neck for New York and Spider-Man since the very beginning, and Daredevil, Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, Iron Fist have all butted, Doctor Strange have all butted heads before, but Daredevil comes to Spider-Man with an ultimatum. It's time to team up and kill Fisk. Thus entails 6 issues of betrayal and alliances, and Fisk thinking he get the upper hand while these guys try to take him down, and bring it all on.
Yeah, it was a very, look, straight off the bat, a very enjoyable arc. I mean, as prefixed at the beginning of the show as well, I had not read Ultimate Spider-Man before, and I just really love this. I was treated with Mark Bagley's art. I mean, we spoke a bit earlier, Connor, about Bagley being... he's been around for yonks, hasn't he? And in the 90s, I mean, those will remember Round Robin. We did that arc review, I think, with Josh Geronimo Johnson. He did that as well back in the 90s. And back in the 90s, his art was really good. Really good stuff. These days, I mean, it's still good, but for me, it's slightly different to the 90s. But in Ultimate Spider-Man here, I think he's on his A game again. So the art was really nice to see. A real pleasure to look at. Your thoughts, Connor, as well?
Yeah, I think we were talking about this before the show, so I hope I'm not repeating much. But yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man was the first big run I read when I got back into comics, so that's all 200 and something issues I binge read. Marvel Unlimited back in the day, and this arc really stood out to me. It's just one I remember so much after reading it, and it's just a great idea. It's super fun. It's got a great message at the heart of it. Mark Bagley was amazing on Ultimate Spider-Man. He did just about, I think he did all of the first 133 issues. And I think he does kind of dip in quality, I think, just so much after issue 80. Okay. Still great, as we can tell, but those first 1 to 80 issues are probably, I think, the best arc that Mark Bagley ever did. Wow. So this run, I mean, I wouldn't be the first to say it, but this is definitely one of the biggest runs for Spider-Man, and just super good, very important.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, and it's obviously set in the Ultimate Universe, so things are slightly different. I mean, we see slight changes. Like, we see Aunt May, she's slightly younger, a little bit more hipper, right, than the usual Aunt May. Iron Fist, I don't know, to me he seems different because, well, he actually, for one, he's got a kid, he mentions here. So that's, with Colleen, yeah. So that's different. Physically, he's kind of different because, I don't know, his costume's slightly different. That's all. So there are slight differences here. No spoilers here, right, Connor? Because I mean, spoilers. It's how long is it? You said it's about 12 years old, right? So we can talk about it. I haven't read the whole thing, but this is so well written, Peter Parker, right? So what happens? I guess there's a big gut punch at the end, right? Does he die? And that's a whole Miles Morales thing.
Yeah, he gets shot by the Punisher trying to protect Steve Rogers.
Wow. I mean, it's just that was at the back of my head when I was reading this. I mean, I knew that obviously these issues none of it would be the issue that he actually does buy it, you know. But I was reading it going, oh man, Peter's such a cool guy. It's really well written, and oh man, I know what's going to happen. He's actually going to die in this universe, and yeah, that kind of had a bit of weight to it, I thought, for myself. What did you think of Peter's depiction here? Any differences that you picked from, you know, his normal 616 universe persona?
So the big thing here is that he's still a teenager, so
he's very young.
Dealing with girl problems. You know,
that's right. There's that one bit where I think it's a police officer's trying to pick up MJ, and she goes, "Oh, I'm 16." Oh, it was one of the damage control construction crew. That's right. He kind of flirts with MJ, and she goes, "Oh, you know, you do realize I'm 16." So they are very young, I guess, which is but as you read through this story, his history is pretty much the same, on point, as 616. I mean, he talks of Ben, Uncle Ben, and with greater power comes greater responsibility. He talks of how he got his spider powers, which is all consistent with the 616 universe. Also, his nemeses, the Osborns, seem to be very similar. So there's not much change, it seems to him, other than his obvious age. But with Moon Knight, I mean, that's why we're here, Moon Knight seems quite different. And one of the first striking things for me, Connor, was, and maybe you can speak to this because you know of Moon Knight in the previous volume, one of his personas is a young girl. What's happening there?
Yeah, so this is kind of when I cover the first one because it covers it pretty well. But
right.
This was a really interesting idea, and obviously the Ultimate Universe is based on these big differences entirely of the universe. So yeah, in this one, Moon Knight only has 4 personalities. It's Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, and Moon Knight, and this young girl. The young girl I don't believe is ever named, but she's basically the voice of reason in Mark's head, and they always talk to themselves within this playground setting.
Yeah.
Where the girls constantly featured on the screen. It's odd, but you know, knowing this isn't the main universe doesn't affect the main depiction. I really like it. I think the back and forth between all of them, and you know, the role this little girl plays in Mark's, you know, dilemma. I really love. I think, you know, people complained about, you know, Bendis' own Moon Knight in main continuity that, you know, didn't match up. But this one was the perfect place to explore something like that. And did it really well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I didn't have much background on it. I just kind of went with the flow, and obviously, you know, things were slightly different. So it's like, okay, well, I immediately thought, and of course it wouldn't be. I immediately thought it was Dietrich, his daughter, but which actually I'm thinking they have kind of dabbled, I believe, before Bemis with there being a female Moon Knight in alternate universes, and I believe one of them was the daughter. That's a little tingling thing at the back of my head there, Connor. I just when I was reading about Moon Knight, there is a version. So maybe
is that Moon Knight 2099?
I think so. Yeah.
Down to yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there was also a proposed and cancelled version of a story that involved Mark's daughter years ago.
Oh, okay, I think that's what I was... Yeah, one of those things I was thinking about. Anyway, so it's not unheard of that there's some sort of, I don't know, female relative for Moon Knight to carry on the flame. But yeah, I found that quite interesting. And the first point of difference, one of the main similarities, obviously, is Moon Knight is still perceived as crazy as over here, right? And has actually brought even more to the fore. Actually, Bendis uses it as one of the main vehicles, I think, for the plot. So what happens is that this group of street level get together and they want to take down a kingpin. Shang-Chi tried it to be a bodyguard or hitman for Kingpin, but he got found out. But they decided to try it again, and they put Moon Knight in it. And Moon Knight, I thought was pretty cool. He turns out to be Ronin. Like, I guess that harkens to Hawkeye's Ronin. Is it meant to?
Yeah, even kind of.
Yeah. Sorry, Connor?
Yeah, I think even the suit's kind of similar, that kind of ninja aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and he very much is, isn't he? In the sense, I can understand why I think Bendis chose that, because Moon Knight really is a bit unhinged in this, and he takes it to to the nth degree, and it's even one of the reveals at the end of one of the issues. He's asked to actually bring Spider-Man to Kingpin, and to gain Kingpin's trust, I guess he really goes to full lengths to... he beats up Spider-Man at the school. He enters the high school, causes a lot of damage, and swings away with Spider-Man, kind of half beaten. So, which I don't know, I think is pretty unlikely, considering Spider-Man, his power set is quite powerful. I'm not sure how Moon Knight...
He used the dart, though, didn't he?
Oh, he used the dart. He did, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Well, Spider-Man hits him first, and surely that would have knocked him unconscious. But he's a tough hombre. And I like how you look into his mind, and so you have him face down in the water and stuff, and the little girls saying, wake up and don't do this. And he actually has another identity within his head, which is like a Ronin identity. So
takes over.
Which is kind of like the uncontrollable, almost evil, bad kind of thing. So Moon Knight plays a huge role here. I just wanted to get your thoughts, Connor. I mean, I know this is an alternate universe, and we get the likes of, as I mentioned, slight changes to Iron Fist. We see Doctor Strange as a TV personality. I mean, that he keeps on talking about how he's a high-profile celebrity, still the Sorcerer Supreme. But what do you think of Bendis's use, I guess, of Moon Knight?
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm a big fan of this representation. It's like a non-canon, well, it's canon,
Yeah.
If the Ultimate Universe didn't die, I guess he could pop over.
Yeah.
I think this is a brilliant way to totally re-examine Moon Knight.
You're right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I mean, it isn't for everyone. A lot of people do have their problems with this, but I think the way the girl's used as a voice of reason, I just love. And I think we're going to check out that first arc as well, and I think the interaction there are brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess I was thinking... I mean, you're right. I mean, you did mention it before, and I think the saving grace for this is, as you say, things are a little bit more flexible in the Ultimate Universe. You can do things that that you can just say, well, it's a different version of Moon Knight. So Bendis certainly does handle him differently. I actually enjoyed how... Well, I guess my enjoyment came from the fact that Moon Knight was actually used as more than just a peripheral character, So many times Moon Knight's just like part of the supporting cast, and he's there because he's a pretty cool looking character, but he doesn't actually add much to the overall kind of team. This time round, he has an important role in the whole thing. Albeit Iron Fist, we find out at the end, Danny is the mole, so to speak, and the informant for Kingpin. So Danny is, quite the villain. But Moon Knight has a chance here to be the villain, but also to be the point of empathy for us as well, because I really like that bit kind of towards the end where Kingpin is interrogating Spider-Man, and he's really just, doing a number on him. And then you have Moon Knight there standing as Ronin, and he turns around and he knows that he's Moon Knight, and he smashes him, the Kingpin, and he just beats up on him. And he ends up getting shot by the river.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way for him turns back. It's a really kind of almost heroic in its own sense of turning in his own identity as well to stop Kingpin. Yeah,
absolutely. And what did you make of his... Is this another case of Moon Knight getting resurrected by Khonshu again?
I think so. I think that moon is a bit too well framed in that panel.
Yeah, that was a massive moon as well. Oh, you're right. The moon was shown there as well, I guess, but it's a bit less... it's a bit more ambiguous, but surely it is Khonshu resurrecting him again. But yeah, because how could you walk away from literally a point blank shot to the head, right? So, don't know how that happens. But, but Moon Knight comes back. I guess I think to me that was the main point of the thing. Also, veering a little away from Moon Knight, what did you think of Kingpin's ultimate, agreement with Daredevil?
I love that. So yeah, I think the big crux of this, Moon Knight, definitely a great part of this. But this is really between Spider-Man and Daredevil. And there's an annual before this where Spider-Man and Daredevil first meet up, and they make reference to it where I think he. I'll pull it up in a sec, but where he quotes, quotes what he said to him, and Peter and Spider-Man, Peter and Matt hated each other because Matt didn't want a kid running around in the suit, and Spider-Man just wanted to be a hero, so they hated each other, and this was a big clash of their personalities. But I think it's the strength of this relies in both Daredevil's and Spider-Man's different resolve and superheroics, how they clash and how they come together in the end, with Spider-Man convincing Daredevil, that murder isn't the way.
Yeah,
and that's such a good, strong crux. These are different versions of both Spider-Man and Daredevil, but they still bring together what I love most of those two characters, and they're pretty high up. And Daredevil, I guess, killing Kingpin's still fairly present in our heads with Daredevil season 3 too. So I feel like this was a great bit.
Yeah,
and it really just brings together that final scene.
The final of.
Yeah, convincing, where he gives that speech to Daredevil to not become the villain.
Yes. Yeah, it was a slightly different Daredevil. I guess that dynamic grew from the fact that Peter's so young because, in the normal universe, that generally doesn't happen. But yeah, that final confrontation with the Kingpin I thought was great, and we had typical Kingpin, didn't we, as well, after he was threatened by them, basically because Daredevil threatens to kill Vanessa, which is a very extreme kind of thing that I guess the normal Daredevil wouldn't do. But it forces Kingpin to basically, Daredevil says, look, just get out of the country. Just take whatever you have or whatever. I don't care. All this blood money that you have, just go. Do not interfere with us. Do not interfere with New York. But typical Kingpin, he's already plotting to have everyone wiped out as he leaves the country. So yeah, I think Bendis wrote Daredevil and Kingpin quite well here. I'm surprised the Punisher isn't here. How is you mentioned he is the one that killed Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe. How is the Punisher depicted in the Ultimate Universe? Does he rub shoulders with these guys, or is he something more than this? Or
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, right, yeah.
He like that first Moon Knight appearance in the arc called The Warriors. First Moon Knight appearance in Ultimate Spider-Man, that has Daredevil, Moon Knight, Punisher, and Spider-Man teaming up in that as well.
Okay, right. Yeah, that'll be good as well. It'll be something definitely to see. I guess with the Ultimates, you always have a bit of fun with all these different characters. Of course, we see Peter having recently gone out with Kitty Pryde, and she makes her way to the high school, Midtown High. That was a bit of fun as well. Your typical Spider-Man, I guess, relationship dynamics there between himself, MJ, and Kitty Pryde. I found that quite enjoyable to follow through.
Yeah, he has a bunch of different romances. Gwen, Mary Jane, Kitty. I think there's another woman as well.
Yeah. Gwen's dead in this, right? Did she die earlier on, or was she alive?
No, she's still around.
She alive? Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, because Peter says that the Green Goblin threw Mary Jane off the bridge.
Yeah.
Right, but he obviously saves her because she's still around. Okay, I see. It was really fun having her there. There's a bit of you get a bit of the mutant kind of thing going on in the high school with a bit of is it Liz? Liz is a bit
Liz Allen.
Yeah, mutant phobic, which is a shame. But yeah, it's good to have Kitty there. I'm just bouncing around here, kind of looking at the different characters. We spoke of Doctor Strange, of course. He's a bit different now, a bit of a philanderer. There's that bit as well where he's meant to be meditating, right? And he's just
he gets around.
He gets around as well. Geez, they're all Casanovas, aren't they? I was a little disappointed in Shang-Chi being number one, kind of overwhelmed by Kingpin and his thugs so easily. I mean, for the master of Kung Fu, he didn't prove that effective. For me, one thing I did like though is I do like how Mark Bagley draws Shang-Chi, because many times a lot of artists tend to draw Asian characters as if they're like Caucasian. I can only think of a handful who don't. I mean, even I'm a big fan of there was a recent 4-parter, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, which came out, 2013, 2014. Really good art, but the depiction of Shang-Chi was I thought a bit off. I know David Ayer, who did Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. He draws a kick-ass Shang-Chi, and in this one here, Mark Bagley does a very good job, I think, of depicting Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I totally forgot he was the first kind of he's in like that first panel as the fake goon. That was a nice surprise. I think this is pretty common knowledge, but Bendis absolutely hates Danny Rand for some reason. I don't know why.
Ah, right.
But he fucking hates him. Like, he hates that character. That's why he's this betrayer thing. Because Bendis just hates Danny Rand. I don't know why.
Why? I wonder why. I know. I mean, he's a fictitious character for one. I mean, what does he?
I think he hated Hawkeye too. I believe that's why he made him Ronin in the first place as well.
Ah, okay, right. And speaking of Bendis, because I'm flicking through this, I think we do get a cameo here of Bendis as well. Did you pick that up? I'm sure one of these Midtown High students, the one where they introduce Kitty, I think it's in issue 107. There's a bald guy with a goatee, and there is one shot of him where he really does look like Brian Michael Bendis. So I think he's inserted himself Alfred Hitchcock.
He loves to do it in any police scene.
Okay.
Every police officer scene, there's a running gag where there's just something weird happening in it.
Because I know he did that with Defenders. I remember that.
Yeah. Like in this one, in 110, the police in here is a female version of Cloak and Dagger getting arrested, and he never brings that up again. It's just there's just these weird background throw-ins.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Cloak and Dagger. That was pretty good to see as well. But anyway, I don't know. Any other big points here, Moony related for you, Khonshu, that we can discuss? I'm
just having a quick flick through again.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of as well, I do like how Bagley's. There's a slight alteration to Moon Knight's costume. You can pretty much see more of his face behind. It's really good, isn't it? It's not just a black. He's not just in shadow, or it's not just obvious, just white mask. He's got the crescent moon on his forehead, like Mr. Knight, but he has a unnerving kind of presence to him. His cape as well seems to be it's patterned with, it seems like craters of the moon or something. That's all I can think of. It's got like linings on there, kind of like a camouflage. So he definitely looks slightly different to the Moon Knight we know. Anything else maybe, Connor?
No. I'll just iterate again. Mm-hmm. I really do love this representation. I'm excited to track down the Warriors arc as well and cover that one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just love this version of Moon Knight. I love the interactions inside his head and this big astral plane that plays out, and these constant philosophical battles within.
Yes.
And yeah, I won't agree with everyone, but I'll always be happy to see him. And even if he made a return, I'd kind of love it somehow.
Mm. Yeah. I agree as well. I really like how Bendis has dealt with it. It does add, I don't know, because it could be done in many ways. Like, in the Bemis run where you get a snapshot of Mark's mind with all of them sitting on the rock fishing and all that. It can portray a different sort of kind of tone, but this one there's such a level of instability in his personality with it. I mean, they keep on. The little girl is, as you're saying, the voice of reason and stuff, but then you get Ronan, and then you get the visage of the Moon Knight persona in there, and there's just a little bit of evil or unhingedness to them in it, and I think Bendis does it really well with it. So, I enjoyed, and I think most of it has to do with what I said before. I think it's because Moon Knight's actually paid attention here, so that's why I kind of enjoyed it. He actually has something to do here. But yeah, we know that some of the loonies didn't really enjoy this as well. But to each their own. It's all good. Look, it's not really Moon Knight related, but I just wanted to ask your thoughts, Connor, on the last issue, 111, The Talk.
A great issue.
It's very Bendis-y, wasn't it? It was just basically the story's wrapped up, and this is a huge epilogue, so to speak, and it's the talk that was coming for a long while, and it's between Aunt May and Peter Parker, and Aunt May having recently found out that Peter is Spider-Man, and much of it, isn't it, just a conversation between the two. I found there was a little bit in the third act, I think, or just between the second act and third, where Peter's talking about his exploits as Spider-Man. I found that a little, it kind of just took away a bit from the story. It had that guy that was, the Spots. I don't know what his name is. The villain, that can make black holes.
I think it's just Spot.
It's just Spot, yeah. It's I found that a bit weird because it was just not connected to anything. I mean, I know he's just talking about, him as Spider-Man, in general, but I just found that really out of place. I don't know what you thought about it. Did you like it, or?
Yeah, well, the fight is what Peter's describing to Aunt May in the side, describing this Daily Danger fights. I really like this issue. I think it definitely works with a lot more build up than you got. Sadly, this is 111 issues in.
Yeah,
that's
right.
100. There's like 100 issues of him hiding his identity from Aunt May and all these things. So when I got to this and my binge read, not knowing it was coming, it was such a great emotional hit.
Yeah,
which I think you kind of miss. And it was just and binge reading it at once when you got to this after all this time, it was just such a lovely moment.
Yeah, that would have been quite powerful, actually. Yeah, I can kind of see that, but yeah, you're right. I mean,
did you ever read the 616 version of this?
Of the Spot, the fight with Spot?
Of the talk where Aunt May and Peter finally talk about his identity. It only happened in the early 2000s. I think it was JMS.
Yeah. Was it? Sorry, JMS. Is that Straczynski?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have read that. Yeah, a while ago, but I've read most of Straczynski's run. I remember that vaguely, but I can't compare it to this one though. Was it much different or very much the same?
It was kind of similar, but I think that was also just brilliant.
Okay, yeah, it was.
Or check that one out again. Yeah.
Oh man, his run, I must say, I thoroughly enjoyed. So anyone who wants, I mean, there's so much Spider-Man stuff out there. I know, Connor, you're a big Spider-Man fan. He's one of those that you just have to kind of, I don't know, if you follow Marvel or whatever, it's a really good comic book to get. It's very, very popular. But JMS, Straczynski's a really good run. He introduces Morlun, I guess, and the whole totem, I guess, the whole spider thing. Really, really good. But yeah, okay. I don't know. Is there? Are we good to rate this, Connor? Then
I think so. I think we covered this.
Yeah. Okay. So out of our highly convoluted system of the moon phases, it being as low as a new moon, which is 9 out of 10, to a full moon, 10 out of 10. If it's something extra special, we give it a blue moon. It's you only get that once in every blue moon. This would have to fall. I did enjoy this a lot. I would have to say, I would give this a waxing gibbous. A waxing gibbous. So that's above a 3/4 moon. So we're looking about 8, maybe up at the high end of that, maybe 8.5 out of 10. Really enjoyable stuff, and I don't know, I think if you just love comics in general, that you'll appreciate this. Even if you aren't a Spider-Man fan, it's just a really good fleshing out of characters. It's not too Bendis-y, if you can say that. I mean, from hindsight, we know these days people kind of lock onto that style, and it does seem to be grating sometimes. I think he's in his zenith here, doing Ultimates, really good. But yeah, about 8.5. How about yourself, Khonshu?
I would definitely have to agree. I think totally hit on the head. If you like superhero comics, if you like street level characters, obviously this is called Ultimate Knights in reference to Marvel Knights back in the day, which is a great bring of all these characters together again. The Warriors Arc also did that. There's a great message, great battle of ideologies between Daredevil and Spider-Man that really hits well. I think Kingpin is such a brilliantly violent presence in this.
Yeah.
And I love this representation of Moon Knight. Obviously, I hate how much it shits on Danny Rand, but apart from that, yeah, it's really strong. Like I said, I remember this well from binge reading this, so that shows,
yeah,
how much I love this. So,
yeah,
100%. And if you're like Ray and haven't read Ultimate Spider-Man, bloody get on it.
Yeah, I think I should.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you reminded me as well with Kingpin. Forgot to mention, I also love the fact that he not only got to Spider-Man physically, and got his thugs to bring him in and him to interrogate him, but he also got the rights to Spider-Man, which from his corporate side, his business acumen, he pretty much beats Spider-Man in that regards, in the sense that win or lose against Spider-Man, Kingpin is still making money off Spider-Man, off his name. So he through a couple of companies that own another company, he acquires the license of Spider-Man. And so actually at the end of the whole arc, apart from the talk, which is the last issue, so at the end of 110, you see Peter walking really solemnly past a whole lot of Spider-Man merchandise, which he knows will just fund Kingpin and his empire. So really bleak kind of in that regards, and does really well. I think again, reiterate, Bendis does really well for Kingpin, in writing Kingpin. So yeah, so there you go. So there you go, Loonies, 8.5 all round. So definitely worth a check out. We'll put the links in the show notes. Also from our Amazon affiliate program, you can find links on our episode to take you straight to Amazon to purchase these issues if you wish, or the trade, and a small bit of it will go towards our show as well, just to for us to keep the lights on. So there you go. So a very good choice, a happy accident, as you said, Connor, but a really good one. We actually have a couple of small bits of feedback. Now, again, I'll have to confess to all you loony listeners, I haven't produced a prompt sheet here for Connor, so for both of us. So
I've got one from Ethan Summerson here, if I can hit up that. So
lovely. Okay, get on the ball.
He says, Bendis is awful at writing Moon Knight. The trade is good, though. 8 out of 10 for the story, 3 out of 10 for Mark.
Hey. No, well, I mean, fair enough. I mean,
totally.
Yeah, exactly. 8 out of 10, excellent. I mean, that's kind of along our lines of thinking. Wasn't a fan of how he treated Mark, but as Connor and I said, didn't mind it because it was in the Ultimate Universe. But I can see where you're coming from, Ethan. So, thanks for that. We also have another one, Connor. It came in via Twitter. One of our first feedbacks via Twitter. It comes from Max Fisher, at Max Fisher. He said basically he did not like the crescent moon on Moon Knight's forehead. So there you go. Thanks, Max. Did you not like it, Connor, as well, or did you not mind it?
No, I like it. I think it kind of like almost kind of sticks out as more handmade or something, maybe cheaper made as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned as well, I like the way that the fabric was depicted. The Bagley had a different look on the fabric. I'm sure, Connor, in Volume 8, it's shown differently because I've seen images of it. We see Moon Knight with the hood down, right? A bit more. Will we see it more there in Volume 8?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because on the cover of Volume 18, you see him with the hood down, but for most of this arc, he's got the hood up, so it's more kind of classic Moon Knight. You don't see as much the crescent on the forehead, although it's obvious, but it's a bit more apparent when he's got the hood down. I don't mind it. I don't know. It reminds me of Mr. Knight. I know he wasn't created back then, but it's pretty cool. Maybe Max, maybe too many crescent moons, because he does have it on the chest as well, so maybe that's a bit of an overload there. But there you have it, our Moony missives just for this arc. Please, Loonies, if you are keen on these issues or any of the issues that we've covered, please don't hesitate to drop us a line, share us your thoughts. We love to discuss them on the show, and this is a brilliant segue, Connor. How can Loonies contact us?
Well, they can do us a bunch of places. We are at intothenightpodcast.wordpress.com. That is our website. We post everything, updates, episodes, newsletters, links to all the other great collective podcasts. We are facebook.com/ITK Moon Knight, I believe.
Yeah, yes.
Cool. We cut Chiz a while ago. That is also just where we posted on our Facebook page. At ITK Moon Knight is our Twitter version. We're on Tumblr, YouTube, all good podcast catch you want to listen. If you want to join a fantastic community of loonies, though, you cannot go past facebook.com/group/ITK Moon Knight. We love it in there. We're past 700 members chatting every day. We got a Facebook chat group as well if you're somehow not sick of us. And that's where you can write feedback, new ideas, We're always happy for feedback. And our email address is just moonknightpodcast@gmail.com, yeah?
That was the old one. It's now easier. It's ITK Moon Knight. So like the Twitter handle, like the Facebook group. ITK Moon Knight at gmail.com. So you can find us there. Yeah. And so next phase, Loonies, have we got something new for you? Next phase, we are into the last quarter. That will be the phase of the moon. So we haven't had one of them on the weekend for a while. Anyway, it is on next weekend, and that means we have our Avatars of Vengeance review. And that is a review of video games, basically. So, Connor, you, myself, and I believe we've been talking to the Rick Ball special. We've got to come up with some review of Moon Knight in video games. Should be exciting.
I am very keen. I cannot wait. I'm glad to have Rick Ball back. And yeah, we're hoping, maybe not next week, but we're also hoping to covering all the Ultimate Alliance games this year. So I'm getting very excited for that, with 3 dropping this year as well alongside Rick Ball. So get your ears out.
Oh,
yeah. Be keen.
Absolutely. That's going to be on for sure next time when it is released, and the next time we do have our Avatars of Vengeance. That will be cool. But yes, so check us out if you can, Loonies. We are running out of time here. Thank you so much for dropping by. And Connor, I guess it's been a while since we've been signing off. Oh, we sign off every week. I'm about to say.
I'd like to think so.
What do we usually tell our Looney listeners, my good sir?
That make Khonshu watch the denizens of the night.
Thank you. Catch you later.
Wee.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.